kind of tough during this stretch too, because you're playing 3 games in 7 nights.
Yep.
You gotta go to College State, so actually 4 games in 10 nights. I mean, what do you guys do to try to make sure you're ready to go each game?
Yeah, same as always, you know. Doesn't matter if you have a 2-day prep, 3-day prep, 1-day prep. You just got to be focused, locked in. And I feel like we let a little bit of that slip last week. I think we beat ourselves in a lot of scenarios, especially on the defensive end. So we just got to lock back in. You know, you can't dwell on it too much. We have a good team. We know how good of a team we are. We just got to play that way every single night. And sometimes you let it slip, and that's what happened last week. So we'll get back on the little details and make sure that we're keyed in on all the things that we need to do in order to win tomorrow night.
UNLV seems to have some similarities to Grand Canyon. They like to attack the paint. They draw a lot of fouls. Grand Canyon had some success just kind of going in the lane, draw fouls or get layups. Just you feel like that's kind of a good opportunity to prove yourselves as like facing a somewhat similar team to be able to bounce back.
Yeah, I mean it's good for us, right? You want to play everybody. It's good to play against all kinds of teams. I feel like we kind of know what's in store with UNLV. Right, and they're hot. Like I said, they played good the last couple of games. They're starting to figure it out a little bit. So it'll kind of be the same game plan. But at the end of the day, like I said, it comes down to us. We got to be us. We got to do what we do. You know, obviously they're a good team and they're coming into the spec, so we got to protect home court. But at the end of the day, it's going to be what we do. It's not about anyone else except what we do.
So last year, kind of at this time, you were ranked, and a lot of things going well. Then you lose to UNLV, and things, I don't want to say deteriorated, but you went from conference contender to like 3 or 4. And there's kind of some similarities now. You were ranked, you lost a road game. What are the things you felt you need to see from this team to not kind of repeat what happened last year, where again you went from contender to like 3rd or 4th place?
Yeah, I think it's a totally different team, right? It's a totally different new year. Except the returners, right? We know what it was like. We know what it felt like last year to end the way that we did. Right, so it's a little too early to be thinking about, obviously you have your goals and stuff. We're not worried about anything except the next game right now, and we know that if we could turn around against UNLV, we can get ourselves going back in the right direction. We just got to play the way that we know we can play. So,
this guy's guard, the little guard there seems to be like the guy you got to really keep your eye on. Number 0.
Yeah.
Do you know how much do you know about him?
We'll go over the scout today right before practice. Obviously we watch every game, we're together all the time, and whether we're hanging out at someone's house or even we're on the road, we watch every Mountain West game we can. So probably watched about 6 or 7 or 8, of those UNLV games. And yeah, they've got good players. They're talented. At the end of the day, you got to make players do what they don't want to do, right? We got to kind of get back to, our values and taking away what people want to do. And I think with GCU, we just let them do too much of what they want to do. They're too comfortable. So we got to set the rules, set the tone early in the game, and that's on part of me and the starters and the leaders. We got to get into people early and kind of dictate the tempo on offense and defense. So we're working on that today, I bet.
Against Grand Canyon, a lot of shots blocked by like one guy had all their blocks, but it's kind of been an on and off issue where there's games where you get a lot of shots blocked, others you're shooting well around the room. What's kind of been the difference you've seen in those games where you're making the layups versus what's going wrong when you have a game like that?
Yeah, it's hard to tell. When you have 15 games, it doesn't happen, and you have 2 games that it does happen. You go back and look, and you try your best to see, what has happened, what's went wrong, and what hasn't. And I think it all comes back to us. We got to play a little more physical around the rim. We got to go up through people's chests rather than worrying about getting blocked. Most of the time, when you're worrying about getting blocked, you're getting blocked, right? When you're scared of the person in front of you, obviously things aren't going to go your way. So we got to be a little bit more physical. We got to go through people's chests, go through people's faces. We got to be dogs, man. And there was times, like I said, we didn't dictate the game, and I think we've learned from that now. And from now on, we got to be, if you want to be the best team in the conference, you got to play like the best team in the conference every single night. So we'll make sure we continue to do that.
Drake, let me just ask you.
Yeah.
I've never been out here before. Can you just touch? I've heard about the environment here.
Yeah.
Can you just touch? You've been here 2 years, played here for 2 years. Did you ever play here when you were at Southern Utah Valley? Did you ever play your road game?
Never did, luckily. Yeah, I never had.
Can you just tell me what just being a player, playing here in this environment, what that adds to you guys as a team, as a team, as players?
Yeah, it's the best environment in the country. I genuinely believe that. I played at Kansas. We play at the Pit, we play at Viejas, and I genuinely believe it's the best environment, basketball environment in the country. The people don't just come here to cheer and help. They really know basketball, and I think that it makes it totally different than any other place I've played at. And also, they just love it. They love it more than anyone else I've ever seen. You know, you got not only the students, but the people in the town, people that travel to our games. They make a huge difference, right, in how the game goes, the energy that you play with. When you go on runs, when other teams go on runs to stop runs, right, it plays a huge part into it. So, yeah, I'm extremely grateful and blessed to be able to play in front of a crowd like that. So.
And then you lead the league in assists, you know, over 2 to 1 assist to turnover ratio. What's been the biggest key of doing a great job taking care of the ball and being really efficient there?
Yeah, just I think my teammates, you know, I give a lot of props to them. Playing with MJ and playing with Mason, it makes it pretty easy for me. Our bigs set really good screens, right? And they roll hard. They play hard too. They're a big part of it as well. But, you know, our offense is our offense. You know, we move the ball very well as a team. And when we move the ball, we're very good. And then when Mason and MJ are hot, it makes my job that much easier. You know, when MJ's shooting at 50 for 50 and 50-50 almost, 50%, 50%. Mason gets downhill, you know, he's just an absolute animal. So they make my job pretty easy.
And then you know enough about UNLV right now to just say, hey, these are the challenges that they really present to us.
Yeah, they're physical. They like to mess up the game a little bit, right? They force a lot of turnovers, so ball security will be one of our main things. UNLV is always tough. They always play very hard, so we'll have to make sure that we match or even exceed the physicality that they bring, right? And that's going to be one of our keys for the game: physicality, ball security, and then we got to get back offensively. I think we just got to get back to flowing, moving the ball, get everyone touches so that, you know, the offense flows a little bit better.